Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Yeah, still me. Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. And I understand that Goulstein here is going long funeral homes. I don't, yeah, that sounds about right to me, if I don't blame you. We're going for quite something coming, people here. Look, here's my goal with this particular post-market live stream. At the end of this lovely video, I want you to come away with a different perspective on inflation and why it's going to get so much worse moving forward, regardless of what we're being told, lied about, fist fed, up and in every single one of our orifices dry. Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty blunt about this entire thing here, people. So anyway, let's start off with this market today. Really nothing. We had the S&P and the Nasdaq slightly negative. The Dow put on a slight gain. 10-year yield a little higher, dollar a little higher on a relative strength basis. A little fear here because of what's going to be and what we found out today too with regard to wholesale inventories. We'll talk about that in a moment too. With regard, economic news just doesn't stop. It's coming in worse and worse and worse as the Fed finishes what it started. Again, this is a deliberate plan to bring the system to its knees and the people with it as well. They want us on our knees begging for help. And they're already ready to roll some of this out here. You remember me mentioning a tokenized system a while back? That's the new system. This is no secret. All right. Anyone who's in the know, and I consider myself to be one of those in the know, realizes where we're going. Everything is going to be reduced to a token. In other words, a tradable asset. Cross-border, trans world, and I ain't talking about, this kind of a trans. You know what that means? A little gesture there. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the entire system is going to be tokenized, digitally tokenized, and even human life is going to be tokenized and become a tradable asset. So don't take my word for it anymore. We are so far. I talked about this months and months and months and months ago. I published an article. Gerald Salente published it in the Trends Journal with regard to the new tokenized system. Look it up. All right. If you subscribe to my free newsletter, you already knew about this. But here you go. You want to know about the tokenized system? That's where we're going, people. Again, this is what we're seeing is deliberate. They're taking down the economy. They're taking down the financial system with it. And that means a lot more inflation, a lot more currency, devaluation. Hold that thought. So I ran this earlier today. Nearly 3,000 people responded. Here's my question. Regardless of who is selected as president here in the United States, do you expect currency devaluation to continue? 97% of you said yes. 3% said no, and they're deluded. Obviously, this mechanism is in full swing, and it's about to get monumentally worse. So anyway, two big pieces of news here. I think this is huge. Most of you get it, 97% of you. And again, go look up my tokenized system. I revealed this. Nobody, and I mean this, look far and wide as you want to. I was the first guy to talk about it because maybe, just maybe, I got a little more inside information than some people. Okay, I'm not letting the cat out of the bag here, but that's the system. Just in case you were wondering, a fully tokenized system where everything is going to be on a level playing field. No currency transaction. It's all going to be one thing. Okay, a one world system reduced to a currency, to a token. Anyway, so I want to cover something else here. Talking about economic information. So wholesale inventories drop. This is not a good sign. When wholesale inventories drop, obviously it should make sense to you that they're saying there's not going to be people. The demand is going to fall. People cannot survive in this environment. They're getting crushed to death. Now here, this is a CNBC talking about how 54% of young Americans say food costs are their biggest strain on their finances. Now, if you recall, I ran a poll on this just the other day where 74%, maybe it was 73% of you said that the rising cost of food is changing your lifestyle. What did we find out recently? Restaurants, patronage falling off of a cliff. Fast food restaurants falling off a cliff. Coffee places like Starbucks falling off a cliff. People have burned through their savings. Consumer credit. Okay, that's the word they use. Consumer credit. People aren't borrowing as much as they were because they can't. They're done. They're maxed out. Prime members of the middle class clawing their way, trying to maintain the illusion of a middle class existence. And all they're doing is destroying themselves. You can't make this stuff up. Now, with regard to this market here, does this sound familiar to you, that fundamentals do not exist? Wow. Thank you, Sachin. I'm so bad with names. Anyway, no. Fundamental factors no longer matter. It's about currency devaluation. It's about suppressed rates. It's about easy money. That's, of course, going to prop everything up and maintain the illusion that everything is just okay. Look, the same thing was going on during the last president and the one before him. I'm talking about the last three presidents have been a disaster with regard to inflating or causing the Federal Reserve or calling upon the Federal Reserve to continue to inflate. In other words, to make the Fed stronger, to right up to the top of that truncated pyramid on the back of your dollar bill. Yeah, everyone's dollar bill. Okay, that's the central banks laughing at us. Now, with regard to the market here, other than, like I just said, really nothing day other than the 10-year yield coming up and the dollar on a relative strength basis, a little fear trade. Crypto's under some pressure, gold under a little pressure, silver flat, crude oil put on like a 1% gain. Okay, whatever. Now let's cut to the chase here with regard to inflation. Now, let us back up a moment. All right. I want you to focus on what I'm going to say. We have been sold, everybody, and it's continuing now, that the Federal Reserve with other central banks were going to be raising rates, and a miracle was eventually going to occur, that inflation would start to come down. Now let's break this down even further. When we're talking about what the Federal Reserve is doing here, they're talking about raising what's called the federal funds rate, their overnight lending rate. That's really all they're doing here. Okay. And that is obviously affects the market, the debt market overall, this one little tweak in the debt market. Okay. Now, so let's put that together real quick. By the Federal Reserve raising the overnight rate incrementally at 25 basis points, 25 basis points, eventually inflation was just going to go away. Now, what no one is telling you, not a single person, not a single mainstream media outlet, no one running for president, no one currently sitting behind the Resolute desk or anything else has told you the truth here. Okay. Inflation at its core, my economists here, every single one of my economists is going to back me up. And I know there's quite a few because I hear from you all the time. Okay. At its core, inflation is a money supply issue. What is going on here with the money supply? It's increasing. It's increasing. The Federal Reserve, on average, $1 billion a day, on top of the other cash that's being borrowed into existence to fund this war, to fund that war, and with everything else. So, what you're not being told here by the mainstream media or anybody else is if the Fed really wanted to bring down inflation, they would contract the money supply. But we're not seeing that. We're seeing the polar opposite, but we're being told that by raising the federal funds rate, that eventually was going to cure inflation. It's the biggest lie that has ever been sold to the people of the world in history. From day one, you and I laughed at that. I told all of you from day one, when the Fed said, we're going to start raising rates, inflation is getting higher, we said it wouldn't work. I said it. Go check my videos. I said it won't work. It's not even meant to work. How you reduce inflation is by contracting the money supply. Less cash chasing X amount of goods. Does that make sense to anybody out here? My economists, my non-economists? Well, it should. But you see, this will never, ever happen. Why? Because the power of a central bank exists in only one thing, and you know what that is. Its ability to inflate. This is why increasing the money supply. We're continuing to see currency devaluation. And we will see this whether Trump is selected, because he's already told you, or whether the current freak is reselected. You get it? This is what I'm talking about. I want to take exception to something here. So yesterday I said, and people twist my words into every way you can imagine. I said that no godlike figure was going to be beamed down to the earth to save you. I was referring to the presidential selection, because some people believe Trump walks on water. And I mean that. They believe he was sent here by God Almighty himself to be the savior of us all. Maybe we should have, I don't know. I have no idea. Make a religion around Trump. I think there is. I'll be honest with you. There's some people that believe that. And it ain't helping nobody. Okay. We already know where he stands. We know what he wants. Period. And it's not going to change a damn thing. So does it make sense to you? Think about what I said. We have been sold a lie. The world, and it's continuing to be sold to us, that the Fed raising rates hasn't changed a damn thing. Inflation continues to rise. Now, what are we hearing? The reverse is going to start to happen soon. The Fed's looking for another avenue, central banks, to continue to inflate. They didn't fix a damn thing. They're the ones that have created the problem deliberately. Remember how many times the freak Powell, puke, vomitous mass that he has said it's appropriate. What hasn't been appropriate? Who's responsible for the economy, inflation, the financial markets, and the financial system? It ain't presidents, kings, queens, dictators, or monarchs, or any of our loving, caring representatives, because they have no idea how the system works. They're all idiots. All they're worried about is getting a big fat kickback from the corporations, who are really the government, along obviously with the Federal Reserve. Anyway, you all know this here, all right? But this is why you won't hear this come out of the mouth of a politician. Contract the money supply. We could reduce inflation overnight. Yes, it would be transitory or temporary, but they won't do it because that would curtail, in this case, the Federal Reserve's ability to inflate. So they sell you a lie. They have the CNBCs, the Bloombergs, the Fox Business all tell you the same damn story. Mitch knows what I'm talking about. Thank you. And people buy it. Meanwhile, inflation is doing nothing but go higher. So again, understanding the situation here, that the money supply continues to expand, that every conceivable reason that they could come up with to pull cash into the now, big shows over the skies of Israel, let's fund it, let's throw billions over here and billions over there, all this to convince you that, we have to fund this and fund that. All it's doing is obviously devaluing the currency, because they're making it creating it out of nothing. You can't make this up if you try to. There's no science fiction movie that could be more bizarre than the lie that's been sold to all of us by the Federal Reserve and our loving, caring representatives, people running for president who won't tell you the truth. The current imbecile won't tell you the truth. No one's going to tell you that this is a money supply problem. It's not a rate issue, but they want you to think it is. We're going to raise rates and it's going to fix everything. It hasn't done a damn thing. And it's not going to, because they continue to inflate anyway. You can't make this stuff up. It's impossible to do. So what you can expect is the mechanism of currency devaluation. Obviously, 97% of you got that question right. Thank goodness. Okay, 3% of you, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Maybe you're hoping for that savior deity to be beamed down. And I'm not talking about Jesus Christ coming back for the second time. I'm talking about whoever they're going to put behind the resolute desk people. People tell me, Greg, you're wrong. Christ is coming back. I didn't even mention the word Christ. Okay? You guys can believe anything you want. I'm telling you that they're not going to beam someone down from heaven and put him behind the resolute desk and make your life all beautiful. It ain't happening. I'm sorry. Oh, man, I tell you, it's just some people are so absolutely like they're nuts. But anyway, that's besides the point. So what do you think, people? I told you from I don't know how long ago, a tokenized system. That's what they're doing. Tokenized. You see the word? You see the word tokenized. Yeah. Okay. You know what the new system is going to be. Tokenized. Everything is going to be tokenized. Anyway, with regard to that, people, let's let us move forward here. I covered everything that I wanted to here. Pretty much. Economic news continues to be bad, and the worse the economy is, the higher the market's going to go. The wet dream of more easy money being pumped into this market is the only thing that's keeping it propped up. So don't take Greg Mannarino's word for it. Listen to Market Watch. Who was this? Isabel Wang here. Yeah, fundamentals are not driving the market. Duh. I think we all know that, Isabel. But at least you had the guts, Isabel. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you some kudos here, Isabel. To say the truth. This is a fact. This market isn't driven by fundamentals. It's driven by the idea of more easy money and a collapsing economy. And the economy is collapsing, period. Yeah. Yeah. Isabel Wang, are you here? I wouldn't doubt it. Anyone that puts out this kind of information has a little bit better of understanding of the markets. And that's really the truth. Anyway, people. All right. Before I let you all go here, let's cover a few things. The dog is okay. I got 2 of them, as you know. I lost my poor Dolly. Still breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. I did have her for 16 years, so I guess I can't be overly greedy, but I miss her terribly, my poor Dolly. All right. You need the ghoul. I don't think we need the ghoul. No. SDR. IMF SDR. Yeah, sure. But I believe the whole system is going to be tokenized, as I said. They could, there's just no doubt about it in my mind. And again, we covered this before anyone did. And I put this out in my newsletter. The new system revealed the tokenized system. I wrote a whole paper on it. And again, it was published in the Trends Journal. I think it's huge news. Anyway, look, people, I think we're going to call it here for today. And I think we will resume this tomorrow. Anyway, with that said, people, look, this guy loves you a lot from the heart. I mean that. Thank you for being here. Thanks for your support. Thank you for those thumbs up. We need to improve on the thumbs up. I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. Okay. Those thumbs up allow the algorithms to pick up the video. The more thumbs up the video gets, the more the algorithms say, hey, people like this. Let's spread it out. Where are you going to hear this stuff about tokenized systems, which we call before anybody else? All this stuff that we call here before anybody else here, people. The way inflation is working, the lie that had been sold to us. You want to fix inflation, you contract the money supply. It's a no-brainer. It's economics 101. You're not being told the truth. No one's going to tell you the truth, and no one's going to save you, people. You got to save yourself. We got to take care of each other. That's what we have. We have each other because you see the people that are here right now, all of you, you get it. You realize what's happening here. You're not a fool. You're not being duped. You're clear on what's going on here. We break down these concepts into very basic principles, which makes an understanding. For example, could you imagine really clever custom performance? Thank you. Could you imagine if the Fed chair said, hold on, everyone, raising rates really isn't going to help inflation. But if we contract the money supply, which they can do, okay, that would help. I haven't heard that come out of its mouth. Have you? Out of any single Fed president, out of one of our politicians, out of anyone running for president? No. Where did you find it out? Right freaking here. But you see, my economist, and probably a lot of you already knew that, because you're smart. I think I have the smartest following on the planet. All right. I'm just the daddy here. Okay. I'm like the daddy, but this is our thing. We've built a real community here. And I feel in my heart that we're making a difference. If we can get this out to people, and I'm counting on you to do that, share the video, get it out there, make people aware of what's going on. That's it. Then we've made a positive difference in the world. And that's all that matters. And everything else is just fall into place. Absolutely. All right, people. Trump is Christ-like. Okay, I think your faith is in the wrong place, Venom, unless, of course, you're joking here. I hope you are. All right, people, look, I'm going to let you go again. I love all of you from the heart. I mean it. Thanks for dealing with me. And I get so worked up. I got such a headache right now. My head's like pounding. I'm telling you, my blood pressure must be off the freaking Richter scale. But I am out of here, and I will see you in the morning. Until then, take care of yourselves and take care of each other, all right? I'm out of here.